I want you to change the world, and don't think that this is going to happen peacefully or you can do it alone. We need to kill the rich, okay? We need to get out there, use your weapons, and rip Washington apart.
Hey, good morning, everyone. It's 1:34 a.m., 7/8/2018. You know, I've spent the last week up for about 21 hours a day. And yet I can't bring myself to drag my ass into my bedroom and go to sleep because I got so much on my mind. So much. According to my computer, I only have 60 minutes worth of recording time left because I have no more memory. And I really don't want to delete my videos. I don't. Because I really sincerely believe that a lot of them offer a great message. A message that I need your help in spreading. You know I'm right. You know it when you stop my video. You know it in your soul that I'm right. You know that the individual should be accountable for their own defense, for their own morality, for their own actions, no matter who or what position that person may hold within a society. But what we have is an out-of-control judicial system, an out-of-control law enforcement apparatus, an out-of-control military-industrial complex, an out-of-control prison-industrial complex, an out-of-control pharmaceutical-industrial complex, an out-of-control governmental industrial complex, an out-of-control medical industrial complex. Why are all these things so far out of control? Why? And why are individuals they deem to be bad and scary made to be the boogeymen in the media? Now, while I was in jail, there's an article about this stupid little sweep they call Operation Spartanburg. And in this article, they highlight the fact that they got some sex offenders, but here's the thing, and that's all good and fine. I'm glad that sex offenders got busted for not registering, because we need to know where these people are. But the better solution is to hang them. But I digress, right? I digress. So they write this article, and people with a lesser cognitive ability, comprehension, might get the impression that the other people who had nothing to do with the predatory sexual crimes was because they were in the same article, somehow they were twisted in with those perverts. And I think it was 2 days ago, the article was circulating the jail, my pod where I was, and then some scary things started to happen to me, because my name was intertwined with a story about sexual predators and how these fucking scumbag law enforcement agencies captured these people. I mean, don't get me wrong. There are bad people out there. There really are. But once you're so far gone, there is no rehabilitating. You can't rehabilitate somebody who has deep sexual feelings for children. And yet, billions of taxpayer money is wasted on prosecuting these people just to have them released in society way faster than, say, a guy that gets caught with an 8-ball of coke. Or a guy that gets caught with a little bit of meth. No, I don't condone people doing meth or coke. I don't. But, you know, these people are adults, and it is their choice what to do with their body. It's their body. They own themselves. I wouldn't do meth. But that's me. I wouldn't do heroin, but that's me. There are a lot of things I would not do, but that's me. That's me. And there's a lot of things I would do. But does that make me an evil, devil-worshipping person who deserves to be behind bars for 10 years? And we had people, they had people mixed in that were wanted for simple pot possession and guns and guns are something that every American has a right to own. The Constitution. If you believe in the Constitution, the Constitution says everyone has this right. Does not in any way bar anyone from owning these firearms, and yet hundreds, tens of or thousands of people a year are sentenced to mandatory minimums for having a fucking gun. They are sentenced to mandatory minimums for possessing a certain weight of drugs. But when the biggest drug dealers, the biggest killers, isn't the street drugs. No, not by a long shot. The real killer is the medical and pharmaceutical industries. They are the ones killing more than 250,000 people a year, not your street level crack dealer or your street level pot dealer or your street level fucking heroin dealer. These people are drops in an ocean of fucking death. And for the life of me, I've tried and tried and tried to get through to fucking people, even the people locked in these starvation places. And they are starvation places, people. Once you lose so many calories, once you lose so much weight, you become weakened. And that's the idea. But they have this nifty little thing called a kiosk in this particular jail. I don't know about others, but I imagine it's modern times, and they probably have some sort of similar setup where inmates can buy their own food. You see, if you can afford, if you have someone on the outside who loves you enough to feed you while you're locked away, as I do, you know, they profit greatly. For example, ramen noodles. And I know they're not the greatest thing to eat, but let me tell you, when you're in jail and you're fucking starving, those things are a godsend. In jail, they are 80 cents a piece. On the street, you can get 4 for less than $1. So you do the math on that. The profit from these little jail stores, it's enormous. It's giant. You have these e-cigs, right? On the street, they cost like $4, $5. In jail, they're almost $12. I mean, it's all about draining everything from that person or the people they care about. And if you have no one, then your fucking body will be drained. They will starve you to death. And of course, they'll get on TV and lie and say they have a diet based on a 1,700 calorie a day. That's not enough for grown men. That is starvation. If it weren't for my Aryan Brotherhood friends there in jail, and you know what, and people have such the wrong impression about those guys, you wouldn't believe it. If it weren't for them, I would have went hungry this whole last week. Because I got in there on a holiday weekend, and guess what? The money that was on my account, I wouldn't be able to get the shit until Monday. So, they fed me. Not the jail. They did. And by the way, they're not racist like they're made out to be. Alright? I'm not a gang kind of person or organization as they like to call themselves. But if the truth be known, these guys really ain't that bad. They're people just like me. They're people just like you. They had jobs. They had families. And the state saw fit for some goddamn reason to ruin them. Oh, I know what it was. It was, what was it? Weapons. You know, the weapons that our Constitution, for you Constitution-loving, supposedly, people, guarantees us to have. See, most Americans have decided to take the side of tyranny as opposed to the side of freedom. And I know I could be making better videos with nice graphics, and this program does all that stuff, but you know what, I somehow I don't feel as sincere hiding behind these things. I prefer to talk to you face to face, eye to eye. I suppose there is room for those videos, but as it sits right now, I'm talking to you man to man, human to human. A lot of these people in jail live by the same code I do, the same idea that it's their responsibility as the strong to protect those who can't protect themselves, those who are weak. Those the cops turn their back on. One of my cellmates was in jail because he defended a family from Mexicans, the local little cartel here. They were killing the dogs and all kinds of other shit. But when a man has the fucking nerve to defend themselves and the people they love, they are fucking criminals. When a man decides that he wants no part of this despicable, disgusting system and sells some fucking weed, oh man. Let's take their kids away. Let's run them through the ringer, even though they have not committed a violent act against anybody else, but every fucking day in this shithole of a country, we have police murdering people, shooting them in the back, shooting them unarmed. Children, women, grandmas, dads, moms, you fucking name it. Pets. Flashbanging little babies. Now, how pathetic is that? How weak is that? You know I'm right. And you know the time is coming where people are going to be like, fuck this shit. And God damn it, I hope I'm there for it. I really do. So, how this works is, 2 years ago, roughly, it was a little less than, but not much, the police come and raid my house. They find some weed. They steal my guns, and yes, they stole them. Stole my child. And apparently these charges were filed before those. So I've been on probation for nearly 2 years. Been to probation officer about 8 times in that 2 years. Roughly. Been to the courthouse to pay fines 4 times in the nearly 2 years. I've had multiple background checks during that 2 years, and I too many to remember how many. Okay, that's how many it was, and yet these warrants didn't pop up. Why? Where'd they come from? They stack your charges up. You know, they'll add things that don't even exist. For example, the near so many feet of a school zone. There was no school by my home. It was well over a mile away. There was a church that was empty even on Sunday, the parking lot. There might have been a few cars there, but it certainly had nothing to do with children. But somehow, they charge you with these things, and then you get to court, and you wonder why the conviction rate is so high. You think these people are actually criminals. No, that's not how it works. They're not interested in locking up actual criminals. No. They have a conviction rate because they add those stupid little charges with them, with the distribution of marijuana. That way, you can't fight it. You can, especially if you're free, but what if you're sitting in jail? Do you know that there's people in jail that is still there from the last time I was there, still waiting to go to court? Justice, right? Do you know that? People just linger and rot in jail over nonsense. They get all these extra charges which don't really exist. They don't. And yet, when you go to court, you either take the plea deal, especially if it doesn't involve prison time, or you're fucked. You don't get your kid back. You don't get a job. You don't get a life again until you fucking acquiesce to the mighty, powerful state. And if I should ever die, I hope my children come to these videos and watch every fucking one of them. And I've instilled in them what every parent should. That the state is your ultimate enemy, that the state is the ultimate evil, and To follow the crowd is to follow certain death. So I lost 10 pounds. And I get to spend the next couple months drinking high-calorie shakes to regain some of my muscle mass, and I will be a better person from that, but I should not have lost that weight in the first place, even with the help of my Aryan Brotherhood friends. So, next time you see a giant dude that looks like a Viking, maybe you shouldn't judge them until you know them. My heart is so saddened, people. It's so saddened. We have a collapsing society all around us, and nobody recognizes it. And the further down that slope we go, the further down that slope, the more brutal and unrelenting the state will be. Is that what you want? Really? I'd like to think the viewers of my channel have a higher cognitive function than that. I'd like to think that you guys can really think outside the box and see things for what they are. I would hope with all my heart that please help me. If you can't give me money on PayPal, fuck it, so what? You can share my content. You can share my words. You know I'm right. You know I am. Everything in your fucking being tells you that I'm right. That's why you keep coming back. I do apologize for my absence, my week-long absence. I will do my absolute best, and trust me when I tell you that I have been, for the last couple of years, to keep my presence fairly steady. I know I've dropped off here and there because of jobs, but this is my ultimate passion, talking to you. This is what I love to do. It might seem easy, but it's not. It's not easy to put yourself out there the way I do. It's not. Some of the things I read, some of the things I see, they're absolutely heartbreaking, and if it weren't for my lifelong hardening, I would probably break down in tears. But somehow I was given the gift of being able to separate my emotions from reality. And if it weren't for that gift, I fear that I probably would have melted down a long time ago. I mean, look at all the evil that is committed to children. See, this is where me and my Aryan Brotherhood friends, lack of a better word, they're friends to me and there, differ. I try to explain to them that 9/11 was not committed by Saddam Hussein, and the people of Iraq had absolutely nothing to do with the event of 9/11. And that those 500,000 children Madeleine Albright thought was worth killing were nothing short of murder. And, of course, they took the stance that fuck those people, they did do 9/11, and those children fucking deserved what they got. And the disformed children that are born there now, they get what they deserve too, right? For my gratefulness for them, to them, for helping me through getting not starving, man, that's a pretty fucked up point of view to have. It is for this reason that I could never associate with a group of people who believe that it is okay to slaughter innocent children. Because it's not. The children didn't get on those planes. They didn't fly them. They didn't plan it. Their government had nothing to do with it. Even if their government did, what does that have to do with them? Don't these things concern you? That it's, and look, this is probably the average person's take on that. You know, fuck them. Look what they did when they had nothing to do with 9/11. You want to know the truth? Israel and Saudi Arabia and the neocons, they all perpetrated 9/11. Anytime there's a massive crime, a shooting, an event, you have to ask yourself who stands to gain. And it's always the same people who stand to gain. Always. Always. And if that's the case, then one can only come to the logical conclusion that it's always the same people who perpetrate these fucking atrocities upon the people of the world in the United States. I mean, these Aryan guys, they didn't even know that Donald Rumsfeld was on the television the night before talking about missing trillions of dollars. Don't remember what the exact number was. I do believe it was something along the lines of 21 trillion, but I could be wrong. Maybe it was 9. But does it really matter? The fact of the matter is the World Trade Center 7 building housed the secondary source of that information. No wonder they decided to, pull it, as Larry Silverstein stated. Why was the Pentagon the only part of the Pentagon that was attacked happened to be the first source of the information that could get to the bottom of those missing trillions? How odd. But guys like me that peddled pot once upon a time are the ultimate threat. We're the ultimate threat. People who make videos like this, who talk the truth, we are the ultimate threat. People who seek unity, they are the ultimate threat, and they have to be dealt with in the most severe way possible. I'm right. I am. We just lost $1,000. Nearly $1,000. And if you consider the job loss, I'd probably say well over $1,000. Because after my name's been mixed in, and my picture, by the way, with these fucking pedophiles, again, the people with lesser cognitive function associates all those faces and names with sexual predators. Even though I had nothing to do with any such crime. My crime was giving some fucking mental patient some weed. I didn't even sell it to him. He was too poor to buy it. I gave it to him to help him. But I'm the threat. I'm the one that has to pay thousands of dollars, lose my job, lose everything. When the most sheriffs of most counties across this country, probably not all of them, but maybe so, and commit horrible crimes and get away with it. Do lots of drugs and get away with it. Sell those drugs and get away with it. But, you know, guys like me, we're the threat. We're the ones that belong in prison, behind bars, treated like fucking animals, starved to death. Right? We deserve it. Because after all, you know, the cops, the prosecutors, the judges, the probation officers, social workers, all these people, they're just doing their jobs. That's the most common thing I hear. I'm just doing my job. Right? I mean, that's the fucking bar we've set for right and wrong. I'm just doing my job. If you're doing your job, it must be right. Right? You know? Shoot the kid in the face by accident because you want to kill her pet. You're just doing your job, though, killing that pet, right? Again, that shit didn't fly during the Nuremberg trials, did it? Why is it flying now? Why is it okay now? I'll tell you why. Because it's our people doing it. And the most pathetic and twisted thing about it all is it's our people doing it to its own people. At least Hitler, at least Nazi Germany, tried to rise the German people to greatness. No, not our Nazis. They bring immigrants in. They change the demographics. You know why? So they have a dependent group of people. A dependent group of people is always the group of people who are going to be the most obedient. You are being replaced in every country across the world if you are white and you expect fucking freedom. There's only one thing to do. There's only one thing left for white people to do. And look, I don't hate black people, because not every black person, not nearly every black person, has that feeling against white people. Most of them recognize that this entire civilization, everything, the roads, the fucking electricity, the internet, all of it, for the most part, was created, invented, and built by white people. White males. Without white males, this world will no longer exist because no one else is capable of creating these civilizations. We need to find our roots again. We need to find our freedom again. We need to take that shit back by any means necessary. Any means. I hope you all have a good night, morning, day, whatever. Kill the state before the state kills you.